Get to know God yourself. I came up learning about God, going to church with your mother. You know how you go to church with your mom, and you learn the books of the Bible. You're in you know, the youth choir and all these things, but it doesn't click for you. It's just a formality. You're just going because you're being told to go. What begins to happen when it does click, God gravitates towards you, begins to pull you towards Him, and you begin to have a desire. You begin to have a craving to get to know the Father. And that's what happened to me. So I had a minister who was a scientist who gave his life up, and he had power. And what I mean by that, his prayer life. His prayer life had the power of God on the inside of his soul to where he began to pray for folks. And like in the Bible, Elijah and the men who had power and strength and the Spirit of God. So it's not a devil, because the devil is not going to build up itself and tear down itself at the same time. So it was the Spirit of God, and the angels of heaven began to move, and miracles were done. People were being healed, and people went back to the doctor and came back with the reports, and things began to be seen to me, and I began to feel and see the Spirit of God, even though I had these dreams, as I told you, where God will let me know as a child that there's two worlds, and He used Robert Townsend's movie. It's an old movie, when he would touch books and be able to transform into whatever is in that book. God used that for me as a child. I would see myself touching books, and then now I'm in the other world where the demonic is at, and with my armor on. Okay, so that let me know that long story short, that there is two worlds. The demonic, okay, and the actual world that we live in, the physical. Okay, so where Satan and God lives, and then that's the supernatural, and then you have the natural, which is in the Bible. Okay, now I got to a place in my life where I began to see, hold up, wait, that there is more than one version of the Bible. Okay, so now I see that King James Version was during his time and era where he decided that he wanted to go ahead and create a book for himself, okay, his version, when there was already the Great Bible translated from Aramaic, Latin language, which the Jews spoke and Jesus spoke and the people spoke during that time in Moses. And that was transferred to Old English, which we have now. But there was the Bible before it, so there were selected words, selected disciples, and stories put into that book. Okay, so everything is not there. There's books from Judas. And even though he betrayed Jesus, I wanted to read about Judas, because Jesus still chose him. The book of Judas. Okay, the book of Mary Magdalene. Okay, these people were omitted because the church didn't want them in the book. The people who, the politics and the writers, William Shakespeare, who worked on these, this King James Version that we have here now, that we made as our standard. Okay, do your own homework. Get to know God for yourself. Pray, read. It's great to be up under leadership because you have a covering. But, however, definitely seek God and get to know Him for yourself. And He'll open up His world in your world. You take that first step, He'll take the next step. All you have to do is take the first step. Now, we breathe this air. We breathe in this air that we can't see, that He created for humanity. But yet we can't believe in an unseen God because He has not shown His face, because we have a part of us attached to the devil. That's why we still have to keep growing. No one's perfect. Even when you come to God for the first time, you want to see God, get to know God, and you still fall short of His glory, you're still going back to old ways and habits, He knows that. You're still a human being. God loves you. He cares about you. When Satan was kicked down here, he thought he was just going to be cool and chilling and having a great time and build up his kingdom, because he already took away a third of the angels, right from under God. So he don't care about us going to church. He don't care about us doing right or feeding the homeless or doing anything positive. He don't care about those things because he still feels strong enough that he can still lead us on to hell. And it could happen, whether we believe it or not. So this is all God requires, is your heart. You have the power because God has the power and He can give it to you. All right? And that's the power to love, the power to heal, the power to be there for your loved ones,